Kill a life, it's a life, let it black out, it's a life, let it black out.
What up, everyone? We are back with another podcast, and today we have a very interesting topic, which is something that we already engaged in our channel. This is smart cities. So if you are interested in a wrap up video about it, then link in the description below to our video. And today we're gonna get a little bit more into it, not just the fact that what is it, but what kind of problems it puts up, what kind of questions, and what kind of good things can it cause, and also obviously, as usual, our opinion on it. And as normally, Patrick is with me.
Yes, welcome back everyone. As Roland said in today's video, we will discussing the concerns about smart cities and what will the future. I think this topic is definitely interesting and valuable because we have to concentrate on our future and have to try to have a look into it. And fortunately or unfortunately, this will definitely be our future, as a matter of fact. And I think Roland will explain it for us. Why is it? So actually, I can make up a question for you. That why do you believe that this will be the future?
Actually, it's really hard to say that it will be the future, because obviously it's not 100%. However, as we can see the improvements all around the world, we can highly say that there is a big chance, as they already started building a couple of smart cities. As you can see in the video, one of the biggest constructions is Dollara in India, uh, and because we've already started, and also as we see the improvements of AI, these three things together just actually gets me say that this is the future, and also the things that it will provide can solve a lot of problems, and moreover, we are overpopulated on Earth, and smart cities will try to solve this problem from the sustainability point of view, and these things together, I think, will be prioritized. We will talk about obviously privacy in case of smart cities, but like I think the sustainability, which is one of the biggest advantages for a smart city, gonna be prioritized over privacy. And now this is really important, um, because as we can see, our Earth and our cities are rubbish. I mean, are full of rubbish actually.
Definitely,
Because
and smart cities could be like uh, it can solve these type of things.
it can actually provide clean cities with a lot of job, entertainment, and also habitation facilities, and that's why I think there will be the future, because it solves a couple of problems which we're facing with. Um, so, uh, my because as you already know, I think it's the future. But my question to you is that, do you think it's the future? So like, do you agree with me in this, or you are not really sure about it?
Uh, there's one concern that I have, and this is that we all know that capitalism. So just to mention it like sidely, so capitalism will definitely grow the gap between rich and poor people,
Yeah.
and I just don't know how will poor people manage to have a right in these kind of cities and have a place to live in these kind of cities, uh, because as you know, the salaries, I just don't know whether the salaries uh, will be like a more of an amount, or smart cities will actually solve like uh, every kind of workplaces as well. I mean that there will not be homeless people, there won't be like people who don't have a job. So I just can't imagine this, that everybody will have just the positive side of this thing.
I think uh, this is just an obvious truth. Because smart cities has its cons, and and it's not good for everyone. It's just more like I'm more like on the point that they will be the future, but not everyone's future, obviously.
So
Um,
yeah, I believe that those people will actually move into these kind of cities that have the facilities for that. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to mention privacy as well. And I believe that most of the people's decision will be dependent on the fact that privacy in these kind of cities. For example, your whole life will be like an open book. I think we can say that because
I think for this, just for those who not really up to date with this topic, just explain what's happening in a smart city to understand this. Um, so smart city actually collects data from everyone, from every object, from every building, from every car, in order to make it into one system that can process that information, and then that can make up a way better way of living, or
Oh yeah,
from a
it's
point of
definitely.
views. So like the main thing in a smart city is data collection, which is handled by an AI system, a city system, let's just say, which controls everything in the city. And
Yes,
obviously,
yes, yes, yes.
going sorry, just
This is it. Yeah, yeah, this is it. This is it. This was a
yeah,
good
just to
explanation, actually.
understand the privacy concerns, because the
Yeah,
privacy
yeah, yeah.
concerns are coming from the fact that
This. Yeah.
that we collect everyone's data about everything. Later on, we probably will cover things that have been happening at Smart City, and those will show how big of a variety of other things will become an open book in a Smart City. Um, and go on. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, it had to be said definitely to clear things up. So, yes, as Roland's mentioned that these type of electronic methods and sensors will actually collect data. So AI system actually. And this includes data about everything that you have. For example, uh, of course, about citizens and what the citizens have, like privacy on life, what their morning routine, what do they do in the evening, where are they? Yes, for example, what the location of their home place. For example, assets, which I believe is the most dangerous one because as a matter of fact, if there will be like a person who really wants to um, end your life, I think that those kind of people will actually manage to ruin your life just by getting all the data that the system have about you. I don't know whether it will be like a thing that can be solved or it can be reached by everyday people. I mean, ordinary people these days, or just like hackers. But it's definitely will be a dangerous way of life because there will be a system that actually has everything about the city, and if that system will get hacked, then the whole city will be done.
Yeah, I think you very much summed up two huge problems, and that is privacy, firstly, and second of all, safety.
Yes.
Um, so these are the huge arguments in case of smart cities. And just an overlook for what it goes in the good side, and then we can very much compare the two things. So on the other hand, uh, a smart city will have a way better transportation because the cars can communicate each other. So there, it can avoid actually traffic jams, and also car crashes.
Yeah,
Um,
because there wouldn't be like a need for people to drive.
yeah, and the car knows the other car, and there is no like the car knows the other car and where it goes, so like there is no chance for a crash, or where the system can set to like avoid traffic jams, and then all the cars can be routed the way to avoid traffic jams. um and then, second of all, sustainability, which we've already mentioned. Smart cities will have systems for air cleaning, water cleaning, and also smart rubbish collection, and all that stuff, which is obviously purely good. And the big part of a smart city is the green areas. In a smart city, there are a lot of parks. There are a lot of green places with a lot of trees and stuff. Um, because in a smart city, the livability is very important. And then, in case of health, there will be remote patient patient monitoring, which means your doctors will get daily or weekly or monthly, depend on information about your body and health state. Obviously, in order um, to
whether you have a disease or an illness, they can actually act quickly as possible.
yeah, because they will see it. And you don't have to go to anywhere. They just got the information. Probably because like a smartwatch, which everyone will have, or something like that. And then there is the case of safety. Obviously, because of the system, the together-based system. It can be seen where crimes happening. It can be seen where robbers went, and also if there is any kind of crime, the police officer can get there very easily because the traffic can just like stop because it's on one system. You see?
And definitely because it's like everything like controlled by AI.
Yeah, yeah,
And not like normal ordinary people. There will be like no situations where, for example, the shop assistant in a shop will take a break because there will be actually no break. Because all these kind of jobs like a driver, shop assistant, for example, like people who work next to the conveyor belt, these jobs will definitely be solved by AI, I believe.
yeah,
And everybody thinks now, as a matter of fact, because this is my first thought about this as well, that, oh my God, how bad is that smart cities will ruin a lot of people's life because
they're
um,
missing
actually,
jobs.
yeah, definitely. But on the other side, there will be people who need to actually solve and type in of code that manage to work as an AI. I mean, you have to set up the whole city,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
for that you need a lot of people, like a lot.
Yeah, I'm not saying like smart cities will get away jobs, but it will provide new ones as well.
Yeah, definitely. But for example, like you won't need like a car driver or like a taxi driver, for example, let's say.
Yeah,
So these kind of jobs will definitely disappear in these kind of cities. Actually, I believe that for the matter, but definitely there will be like people who have to build up the system of the traffic. Actually,
yeah,
could you hear me?
yeah, perfectly.
Nice. So yeah, this is my thoughts about like whether we talk about jobs. So it will definitely provide new jobs. There's one thing I want to mention. Of course, there are a lot of positive things. For example, what you've said earlier. So like environmentally friendly city, 100% for 100%. It can provide jobs,
The
the
safety.
livability, safety, these kinds of stuff. But there's one thing I want to mention, and this is the fact that I believe in a smart city, whether you need to. So, for example, you've mentioned the healthcare system, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I believe that in today's world, where we can't even manage to fit in the right amount of people into hospitals, for example, in our county's hospital, it is a terrible situation. For example, right now it's terrible
yeah,
because, of course, because of COVID-19. You've experienced right like like a week ago. It wasn't like a whole week ago. 6 days before, I believe you can tell. It could be like not like funny, but it can be like an interesting side story. So what happened
Okay,
to you?
so it just I actually went to school by bike. I always do. I'm very irresponsible, and I went to school with a single speed on a sloppy day because it was very rainy, and obviously I uh, fell off from the bike, and I didn't have my arms broken. However, actually my wrists. However, they may had something, some problems. So the doctor said, let's just uh, let's just rest it and have
In a casket, maybe?
yeah,
Yeah.
casket, yeah. Um, and so the fact is that what Patrick tries to say that I just experienced that for this, which was like actually 10 minutes, the process itself. I mean, and everything, putting it on the X-ray and stuff. All these things, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes at maximum.
Yeah,
And
but
for
how
that,
long?
I
How
have
long?
to wait for like
Yeah.
2 hours,
That.
2.5, 3 hours or something like that. Around that,
Yes.
I couldn't even count it. Like,
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to say. So, in smart cities, it had to be solved that whether you have an emergency. Of course, it wasn't that kind of an emergency, but an emergency call, you rush into the hospital and you have to wait like for hours to get the right medication or at least the right um, examination, for example, for your broken bone or whatever you have, whatever the emergency for. So, because we don't have enough doctors, we don't have the system built up well. So, I just can't imagine how it can be solved in a smart city. And as a matter of fact, I believe the smart city will actually solve this problem with limiting the amount of people that can live there. So I believe there will be a huge amount of limit.
I think it's just we'll concentrate on growing. If a city grows, like at some point, obviously the uh, government of the city will decide if it grows or not. I mean, if they build more flats or not, actually. Um, and if they decide, obviously, there is a need to grow the infrastructure, and that means also more doctors. But because of the smart city, I believe, um, I believe, the problem with doctors will be way easier, as if you think about it, there are no traffic crashes, or there's just 0.001 chance to a traffic crash. Uh, Also, there is the remote patient caring, which by those who don't have serious problems do not have to go to hospital. Uh, and then also there is better quality in water, in air, and these will equal way less people getting into the hospital.
Yes, definitely true. So you
Like,
mean that? So you mean that the uh, right safety on the roads, for example, or at home and everything, and the clear nature will actually help people to avoid seeing their doctors.
because they just won't be sick,
Yeah.
like or
Yeah.
less sick.
Yes.
Obviously
Yes.
they will be, obviously, but like uh, uh
That's definitely
obviously
that's definitely a good point. Yeah.
if you have a better surrounding, and you are provided uh with the right things for living, then there is a less chance that you get sick. um
Yeah. There's one thing I just um right now I'm watching this video that you've made, and as a matter of fact, it speaks a lot about, not just speaks, but it shows a lot about traffic and how it will work.
Yeah.
And it's definitely interesting for me because I just can't imagine that one half of the bus can change with another one. What the hell? What is that for? I just don't know. I need to search some things about traffic in these kind of cities because I just can't imagine what just happened there. So I don't know. Of course, you know some stuff about it, so you can say if you want.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, all I know in case of traffic, is that the cars and all the vehicles will connect to each other uh, at one system, uh, and all the cars will be self-driven. So like, no drivers, no need for drivers, self-driving. Will be the case, the important thing. Um, and they will use self-driving. Uh, and so in a connected system with AI-driven vehicles, uh, actually everything just flows in the city. That's how I can describe. So the transportation just flows because there is no man-made complications, as there is no people who could control it because the AI does it. Um, which, yeah, okay. Again, I know that this can also be like scary. I also heard concerns about, but what if the AI goes wrong? What if it's hacked, or what if what if it still gets into a crash, which does not really have a chance? But what if it happens? And honestly, yeah, as we know, anything can go wrong, and if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. However, I think there will be people who will manage this, who will supervise this, and if something goes wrong, they can just stop it. And that's also the beauty of being on one system. They can just shut down the whole system if something goes wrong, which can actually avoid any kind of crashes or problems. And yeah, if the AI gets in crash, that's again a very interesting question. To be honest, I do not have the answers for that. Because I only know that there is just a very little chance for it, like close to zero chance for it. Um, and I think this is just still better than what we have right now. Uh,
Yes, definitely.
and
Actually,
and what you've seen this changing. By the way, those are trucks. Those changing um the things they supply and transport. So like the also the so the
cargo, you mean, or something
yeah,
like that?
the cargo. They just changed it because the first one and the second one changed it because, well, obviously they just wanted to uh get it to different routes. And what it shows is that the two trucks could do it, like change it, because also the cargos are driven
Yeah, by the system.
by the system. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm wondering what's happening with the boss. Because he said something.
Oh yeah, that was what I meant. So I just
It just
read
recharged
yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
video
yeah,
at least.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some interesting things. What's the right technology for that? I don't know what you know about. Like it's like a whole bunch of combined stuff here that I see. So it's like smart grids. You know what, like a smart grid? It's like uh it's a device that measures the energy and smart meters. It's like uh the renewable energy
Oh yeah,
resources,
I see, I see.
and these kind of stuff. Like, of course, we haven't mentioned smart homes, which will be the key of smart cities actually, and the technology that is used in them. Definitely, I don't know what it means. Oh, bicycle sharing system. We have this kind of development in our city as well, Jur,
Oh
that
yeah.
you can rent a bike and go around with it. So I believe that, and that's what I wanted to say, that these are a lot of stuff that makes 100% of a smart city. And I believe we started to realize that this will be a thing. And for example, Amsterdam started in 2009, and you've been to Amsterdam like,
Once.
yeah, once, but was it like a year ago almost?
2 years ago, I
2 years,
think.
yeah,
Two
2 years
years
ago.
ago.
Jesus, time flies by. So, yes, and what was your first impression about Amsterdam? I know that there are some things, but considering that, was it like was it like still a real city feeling? I mean, when you go into the city and you see a bunch of old buildings, for example, from different ages of their history, um, you see people walking in the streets and on the roads, definitely. And because this text in front of me says that Amsterdam is actually partly right now smart city as well. It's like it currently includes like 170 projects uh, concerning smart city actions.
Yeah, actually, so in case of Amsterdam, I think, especially when I was there 2 years ago, it was very much like any other cities. Um, because these constructions takes a long time. Like you can, especially if you want to build this system into an already existing city. It's not like you can build it by a snap, or you can just create it.
At
Uh,
least a decade, I believe.
yeah, at
At
least,
least.
or even more. So like, Amsterdam is just on the way of it probably. Um, and also I think, uh, in case of cities like Amsterdam, the smart city projects will like not harm the nature of the city. For example, the historical buildings, or in case of Amsterdam, the lot of channels, the lot of bridges, and the beauty of the city won't be harmed by the smart city. The smart city will actually build in it. So like, I think it will be important to keep these heritages, and I think they concern this, or at least I really hope, because for a smart city we just shouldn't drop our historical heritages. Um,
Yeah, so it will be a huge change between the two kind of cities, like a normal city that we have today and a smart city. But of course, our precious uh, buildings, for example, sorry, uh, and our precious like um, I don't know the right word for that, but like, you know what I mean. For example,
statues,
yeah, statues. Yeah,
functions.
these ones. Yeah, statues and these kind of things that will be actually have a part in those kind of cities. I mean, smart cities as well. So the video we can see is like a very this is like the edge. I mean, so because in the video I all I can see is all developed things, and there are no like old buildings, for example, statues and things like that.
I mean, in the video which we showing.
Yeah, like India,
Yeah,
for example.
because this is New Birth City. It's like it does not like
Oh, oh,
it's like building. It has been built from the scratch. Uh it does not have an older city part.
version. Yeah. Oh,
Actually,
see.
there were villages, um, but like that's just because they were at that territory, which caused, by the way, problems obviously, as the inhabitants of those villages were upset about constructions.
Oh, and that's what I wanted to say. There's one more thing that um we've said that smart cities will provide a lot of things, but what about agriculture?
Um,
That will be like a provided thing too, or these kind of things like agriculture, growing plants, get food, harvesting, and things like that. You need a lot of space for these.
I think it will very much depend on if this new way of agriculture that they probably I think in Sweden they tried out, which is okay. How to describe this? So agriculture on levels. It's like imagine a flat which has levels with agricultural products.
Oh, it's like not the same, but like when you go into Amsterdam, for example, or just in Netherlands, in almost every kind of city, that there's a huge building, and on every single story there is flowers.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's how you can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. It depends on if this way of agriculture will actually make it to the public and it's really will be useful. Because in that case, I can imagine it will appear in smart cities as it's manageable. By the way, I have really huge hopes in this kind of agriculture because I think agricultural spaces needs to get smaller, which is
And
only
actually,
possible by this. But
it needs to be developed.
yeah, yeah, I don't know if this will be possible. It's like a very big question, but it could be good if it's possible, as then we could then save our forests, our um plains and stuff. And especially like if we think of the burning of the Amazonas, it was because they made space for agriculture. So
Yeah, this was the uh, bonfire stuff.
yeah, exactly. Um, and now I think we should just get into the fact that we've kind of summed up the goods, summed up the concerns. So there are actually we talked about um in case of good things, safety, transportation, health, entertainment, sustainability, uh, and on the other hand, we talked about hacking the system, privacy, and also if poor people can get into these cities. So, first of all, before we discuss anything, do you think these kind of good things which I've just told you are worth to risk all the other three, all the other concerns?
Do you mean privacy? Um,
Privacy, hacking, and also if it's if it will be available for everyone.
say the limitation.
The limitations, yes, yes.
Um, I believe it's like It depends on territorial things. So I mean, of course, in a poor country and in a poor area where actually people fight to live from day to day, this will this will not be a thing, I believe. So smart cities could not be actually built in poor areas because actually it definitely will destroy the whole system around there because poor people actually, I believe the government won't give um a place to live, latest, the newest, the best place to live to poor people who don't even know, in some cases, don't even know how to write or, for example, don't use the right grammar and stuff. So I mean, like they unfortunately didn't get the right education, so they won't be able to live in a city where everything is in connection with everything. I mean, which is like uh, very it's hard to think about. So I mean, it I just don't know how to say this. So I mean, those people who don't have the privileges for that to live in a city like a smart city, they won't be able to get into this system. So and that's what I said, that it will definitely be a thing like um territor- territorially, because, for example, in areas which are already like a bit like developed, this can be managed because the difference between the two lifestyle uh, wouldn't be like that huge. So you know what I mean. So for example, in Africa, in a lot of areas in Africa, people uh, work and make ends meet by agricultural work.
Uh,
And those people who don't know how to read properly, they don't know how to use, for example, a smartphone, they won't be able to live in a city like this because the difference of the lifestyle will be huge.
and also, you think like the wouldn't be able to manage it because they do not have the right education for it.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I wanted to say, that they don't have the facilities for to live in a city like a smart city because they don't know much about developed life. I mean, how to um, use like a smartphone, for example. And it's, of course, in today's world where we live, for example, in Hungary, it's like same old thing. We all know how to use a smartphone, actually, but um, um, I just wanted to say really quickly. So they don't know about systems, electrical systems, for example. They don't know about smart systems, for example. Uh, I think those people never heard of the idea of smart homes. And if there will be a smart home, smart city, sorry, and if there's a smart city built in that area, people will be scared that what the hell is this? You know, that because they
Yeah,
can't
I see.
imagine
I see.
this kind of stuff. So it's like the difference between the two lifestyle will be that huge, the gap between the two kinds of lifestyle, that they won't be able to manage to fit in this kind of city. So I believe these cities will be actually built near areas which are already developed, that I've mentioned it before. And your question was whether we take the risk of that free or just leave the idea of smart cities. And I believe via this we can actually take the risk, because in those countries where cities are already developed, for example, we can mention San Francisco, where environmental protection is like a real thing. and the organization of environmental protection is really
Not
important and
right
takes
now, but yeah.
not right now, of course.
Yeah, because like
Um,
the forest fires that's going
yeah,
on.
yeah, not right now, but
I'm sorry, but I like really have to say this because you probably didn't heard of it, and it may shock you because your thinking is very, very logical. But the fact is that most of the smart cities are under construction in countries like you mentioned, are under construction in India, under construction in Egypt, Nigeria, Malaysia. And these are the ones I've heard about,
so
and
I've
these are
I've just mentioned a lot of bullshit about my idea that in poor countries it shouldn't be developed.
no. Your idea is very well logical. The problem, what's going on, is that these are under constructions in these countries, and this is a problem, especially because what you've described. So that's something I'd really like to. I already wanted to get into it, because this is the problem. I actually cannot understand how these countries do this. Obviously, we know because of capitalism, these countries have the high 3% and the low 97%, and obviously the high 3% will be about to live in a smart city, and smart cities are constructed for them. But what you've described as why it's not available for uneducated and poor people is the real problem, because in these countries they're saying they do this for developing, they do this for increasing the number of people who can have homes, who can have jobs, and as you've
Uh,
just
uh,
described, that why they won't live in a smart city is the real problem, because they spend billions of dollars in it. Like in case of India, I know they spent 90 billions of dollar on smart city project.
yeah, I've just read that, for example, worldwide, it already costs like 400 billions of dollars.
Yeah,
400.
Jesus. And so the problem is that these countries by this will get just poorer and poorer, and will live in miserable lifestyles, because the money which could be spent on developing their lives will be spent on smart cities, and they won't get into it, especially because what you've said, especially
Because
because of that.
yeah, because the difference between the two lifestyle, and
Yeah,
it's huge. They won't be able to actually recognize the difference, the amount of difference.
yeah,
Uh,
and also obviously financial concerns are too,
yeah,
because
yes,
that
definitely.
that's something just basic in this case. um
And that was my huge concern, that I think I've mentioned that the government actually won't give for thousands or for tens of thousands of people a work a workplace, place to live in, healthy life, for nothing.
yeah, exactly.
So actually, in these countries, it is more developed. But I can read some things here. So I've mentioned, right, that those cities, that was my idea, that those cities will be actually finally be smart cities, that where people are educated properly about smart cities and smart homes, and smart concerning everything that's we call smart. And for example, in a lot of cities that we know, for example, Barcelona, Copenhagen, Dubai, Dublin, London, Madrid. We even have here Moscow as well, New York, of course, Santa Cruz. So these cities actually have done some projects in order to get the title like smart city. So, for example, in this examination that I have in front of me, they say that Moscow definitely is a smart city because it can be titled as a smart city. I don't know what kind of facilities do they provide for that or kind of stuff. But the point is that the fact is that I wanted to say that I believe that the real smart cities, I mean the real as smart cities, will be developed in these areas and these will be successful. So I believe in those countries that is made for the rich layer of the society, it will be actually finally in the end it will be not like destroyed, but it will be abundant because um,
It will be
rich
just like
people.
a restricted area for rich people, which is
Yeah, yes,
which
definitely.
even
Yeah.
makes like if rich people lived in a different world than anyone else in the country.
So in those kind of countries, smart city idea will not work because of this. And I
Yeah,
believe here,
even the good smart city, a smart city that is really for the people.
yeah, definitely. And what I wanted to say that the idea of a smart city will be actually successful in these areas that I've mentioned, like they have the facilities for that, the right education for that, the right people, the right social layer, because in these kind of countries, for example, Spain, the US, or we can actually mention Denmark as well. In these kind of countries, the lifestyle that they have right now isn't that much of a difference between the lifestyle of a smart city, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, that's definitely true, and also because these are not cities which are built up from zero to a smart city. These are cities which, time by time, include the smart technologies, which let people to get used to these technologies and learn things by things, and not you don't have to learn everything right away when you get into the
At
city,
once, yes, yes, at once, yeah,
because the
definitely.
city develops to be a smart city and not made to be a smart city.
Yes, definitely. So, and I believe this is the key point that uh, w- by building a smart city from 0 to 100%, ordinary people in those areas won't be able to learn about um, their own privileges, like what they really have. And in those cities that have the ability to build not to build a smart city like from time by time, they will actually uh, get used to the that current technology that they have, and whether it will be developed or not, they will be able to use that throughout the time. You know what I want to say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the same thing you've said, that it's definitely key to not from 0 to 100%, but to develop our um, mm, exist existed cities to a smart city.
Yeah, and also I think like this is just something we can say that the smart city, which may really will be for the people, are gonna develop to be smart cities, are not made to be, or at least that's what we think right now. And the last thing, which is really important to see from the cons, privacy. So in case of smart cities, the real question is, do we sacrifice our privacy in order to live in a smart city? Because we can we can like say no, it does not mean that, but it does. They will know every single thing about us, where we are, what we do, I don't know with whom. So this is again a really big
It's
moral question.
it's scary a little bit. It scares me. So I believe this is the biggest con of all, because in today's world, I believe privacy actually developed into another level. It actually improved into another level, because I believe that in today's world where we uh, live in like big cities, we do our work um, from, for example, from 9 to 5. We cooperate with other people. We are surrounded by a lot of people. We are surrounded by constant information, experiences during, for example, your daily job. And when you get home, you finally have that peace. You know that feeling
Yeah.
when you just want to be alone. And I believe in these kind of cities that will be actually abolished by the system. Um, and this is a huge decision whether to make, to live or not live in a smart city. And this will be, I believe, the uh uh this on this like privacy, a lot will depend on,
Yeah.
like a lot.
Uh, honestly, um, I can agree totally. Because who wants to sacrifice their privacy? I mean, I don't know. It's a really hard question because on the other hand, living in a smart city sounds like a dream. At least for
Yes.
now, it sounds like a dream. I mean, for those living standards, for those way of life, I may say, is the thing is privacy this important for me? And I may say that because I am very much concerned if we have privacy right now. I mean, obviously, in case of a smart city, we're talking about a bigger scale because then we know that they track us technically and they know where we were and what we did. But if they want to do it, if for example the governments want to do it, they can do it right now too.
Yeah, yeah, that was like the other stuff that I wanted to mention as
So
well.
like, I'm
That
I'm not saying it's not bad that we don't cut privacy, but do we really get privacy right now?
yes, so it's like, so in a smart city, it definitely will be declared that privacy is not a thing. But actually, they need information, and they need data about you to make it up to you in a smart city. So it's for your own good, because whether you have like um for example, whether you are in a crime or in a bad situation, they can actually alarm the right system to solve that problem in a smart city. But I believe in today's world, it is kind of different, because tracking people in today's world is not for a good cause. Definitely not.
It's in today's world, it's only for bad causes, and in a smart city, it's mostly for good, which can be used for bad.
Yes, and and I believe this is the thing, that if the system is hacked, what will happen? So if the system is hacked of a smart city, the whole city will be shut down, destroyed. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can technically happen. It has a chance because hackers are very good. Let's just say that. Um, but realistically speaking, if a hackers find you right now, in today's world, without any kind of smart city, it can completely destroy you, like the same on the same
yeah,
level.
yeah, on the
Yeah,
same level, definitely.
I mean, it won't destroy a whole city by a snap. That's true, but it can destroy person by person, a lot of people, because they can way more easily just actually get your money, get your information, and
Yeah,
and in this case, my question is that better if we have our private data information as like in artificial privacy, which is not real privacy, which we can say, okay, it's ours and can be very much easily tracked down, or if we have it in a community based system, but definitely that will have a way bigger difference as well. Or like hopefully it will have a way bigger difference. And yeah, in that case, you do not have privacy. But then at least your private information is defended by the city itself.
Um,
And in this case, you in theory have privacy, but it's not truly defended by anything.
yes, that's definitely true. That's what I wanted to say, that in today's world, our privacy is actually protected individually and not like as a whole system, and it is actually easily to control thousands of people's of privacy by via one system than try to convince those people to do that individually, because individually it's actually harder to get your privacy on a protected level. You know what I want to say here.
Yeah. And yeah, you may argue that then still, if the city is hacked, then thousands of people's life, privacy is hacked,
It can happen in today's
and
world
it
as well.
can happen. But as for today's world, and yeah, we say that okay, but the hacker has to do it person by person. Yeah, but it's still very easy for the hacker in today's world, and it's still harder to get a smart city hacked. Way harder.
Yeah, that's definitely true, as you've mentioned. And I believe we actually cleared a lot of things here.
Yeah, and
And we now we should actually try to summarize it up, because actually we are like now about an hour. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We are exactly at an hour.
So I don't know what's your final thoughts about this, but I want to mention some things. Oh, we should actually clear our opinions on this. For example, let's make up a question really quick. What do you think? Would you be able to live in a smart city? And if not, why is that? And if yes, why is that?
Okay, so in this case, in theory, let's say I have the finances for it, because I cannot guarantee that if I have the finances or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I have the finances, I think I could sacrifice my privacy and this concern of being hacked in favor of of living in a smart city, and it's because then I can live in a way healthier way, and also in a in a more entertaining way, and as well a less stressful way. And for me,
and
these
of course,
things are more important than privacy, especially because I'm not really sure if I have privacy right now.
like and the clear environment as well. Nature. It's actually
This is more important to me, especially because I think with internet being everywhere, we've kind of lost privacy.
and actually that's what I wanted to say, that the the birth of internet was like a huge global thing, and with that, actually, of course, it shows us the negative sides, but we can actually, for example, I can Google now when Abraham Lincoln died in like seconds.
that was like hours back in the days without internet.
Yeah, so I can now. Abraham Lincoln was an American statesman and a lawyer who served as the 16th president of the United States from 1861 to 1865, and he was killed by the bullet in a theater. So I just get the information real quick, and this is, I believe, the huge side effect, the huge positive side effect by the internet. And with that, of course, we lost privacy, but I believe we have to sacrifice something get the to get the like the positive side of that development as well. So we have to sacrifice here our privacy again and again and again to have a better lifestyle, for example.
Yes.
And I believe it's definitely worth it as well. So I have the same interests and thoughts as you do, because I believe our privacy is already lost. Of course, in a different kind of way, but if there's a person out there who wants to ruin my life, he actually can do that in seconds. If he has the right, of course, if he has the right ability for that, but he can get information really easily about me right now as well. Because of social media sites, because of Instagram, Facebook, and these kind of stuffs as well.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that, as I've mentioned it before, individually it's harder to solve the problem of privacy. And as a matter of fact, as a whole, a system, it would be a lot easier, and it won't be your
Duty to do
thing.
so.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I wanted to say. Duty to do so, yeah, because the system will care about your privacy. Actually, not your privacy, but your protection. But as a matter of fact, your privacy will be will be hidden as well in the system. Of course, those people who need to follow you daily, who has the he must follow you like on daily basis. They must have control over you. That's the thing.
Yes.
So yeah. I think that I have the same ideas that you have.
Yeah. And I think even though we have concerns, uh, my biggest concerns, by the way, is with the poor countries and this money spending on smart cities instead of the developing life of the poor people. This is my biggest concern, and then obviously privacy is my second biggest concern. Uh, but, and that's a huge but, I can be optimistic about it. I can see
Yeah,
an optimistic ending of this, and I really hope that that will happen.
yeah, definitely. I have the same. Yeah, I have the same ideas that you have here. Uh, I believe
That we
this
can,
could be like a good ending, maybe.
yeah, this is like saying goodbye for today. Um, so if you enjoyed this, as usual, you can subscribe or hit us a like. It's very appreciated. Um, and also I just like to mention some technical things were going on. So as you could see, we do not have videos since last
2
before
weeks.
last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Uh, and this is because we just do not have the recording device that we used before. It's in service, and until we do not get it back, we cannot record. So that's why we had this podcast, and also there were some medical things going on with me. Not something huge or anything. Just this is also made harder to make podcasts.
affected. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so sorry for that, guys, but as everything gets right back as it should be, then we will have videos as well and more podcasts as well. if you want to stay updated on these, then we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow it because we usually inform you there about it. Um, and yeah, I think that was all for today. See ya.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.